rise today to talk about the bill that's before the Senate today, but as a part of that, we are now in the midst of a true fiscal crisis in this country, and I want to address something that has been debated over the last several days, discussed over the last several days, criticized over the last several days, and been the object of a lot of misinformation by colleagues on my side of the aisle particularly about the proposal that has been submitted by the so-called Gang of Six, of which I happen to be a member, and someone who for the last 7 months has participated in discussions with 2 of my colleagues on our side of the aisle as well as 3 on the other side of the aisle to try to find a bipartisan solution to being able to repay the $14.3 trillion that our federal government owes and that we have all participated in creating. And the misinformation that's going around from my friends is very disturbing because people are here on this floor throwing out numbers that are wrong, giving specifics on a piece of legislation that has not even been written, and yet they're talking like they're experts on the subject of a matter that my 5 colleagues and I have been discussing, debating among ourselves for the last 6 months, and we haven't even put the legislation out there yet. So it's really pretty disturbing to me that there are some people in this body that want to see nothing done, and I assume want us to continue down the road of borrowing 40 cents out of every dollar that we are spending, and I'm not willing to do that. I think that we were sent here with a commitment from our constituents to solve the serious problems that this country faces. The only way we're going to solve this fiscal problem that we have is to generate 60 votes in this body in support of some proposal. I'm going to talk in support of the proposal that we have under consideration now because I think it is a potential solution, and I'm very appreciative of the authors of the Cut, Cap, and Balance bill. I'm appreciative of our leadership for at least trying to come forward with something and put it on the table to give us the opportunity to debate those ideas. I think there have been a number of very positive proposals that have come forward and hopefully that will come forward in the next few days to allow us to debate this issue and to primarily solve the problem relative to the debt ceiling and solve the problem relative to the long-term debt that we have. But I will have to say I really am disturbed about some of the comments and statements even from folks who are critical of the plan that we put forward for cutting too much in spending. And these are the folks who have been ranting and raving about the fact that we are spending too much money in this town, and now they're complaining about the fact that we're cutting too much in spending. I look forward to continuing this debate, and I just want to say that the proposal that we put forward was intended from day one to be a framework, not the final product, but a framework for this body as well as the House to discuss as a way forward for solving the issue of how we're going to repay this $14.3 trillion. We never, ever intended for it to be in the mix on solving the issue of the debt ceiling that needs to be raised, according to the Department of Treasury, by August the 2nd. Because we happen to come to a conclusion of our negotiations this week at the same time that the debate on the debts, raising the debt ceiling is reaching its height, has obviously created some impression on some folks that our proposal is intended to solve the issue of the debt ceiling, and it's not. It categorically is not, and I want to make that perfectly clear. That being said, if there's any part of our agreement, any part of our principles that can be utilized by the leadership of the House and the Senate to figure out a way forward on the debt ceiling, For we have no pride of authorship, and we hope leadership will take advantage of anything that can be used to try to generate the necessary support in this body as well as in the Senate, as well as in the House, to solve this issue of this deadline that we're facing on August 2nd.